In this video we shall discuss data logical modeling sample. Once again we have to emphasize that in real life it's a long iterative process that may take days and even months. And even here with our extremely simplified sample you'll have to spend a lot of time, maybe pause the video, rewatch the video in order to comprehend all the information. Here's just a quick reminder from the initial setup. This is the information we get from the customer. So you may pause the video and reread this text if you've somehow forgotten something about our database for file exchange service. We have finished infological modeling with such a result. So this is our infological model, infological schema for our database. Now we shall create data logical model using this data. But before we begin, we have to come to some agreements about DBMS and database. So let's start with DBMS convention. Our DBMS type is relational, our particular DBMS is MySQL Community Edition, our minimal DBMS version is 8.0, and we have standalone server as infrastructure for our DBMS. Database convention contains a lot of details. You may use this information as example for your database development, or you may follow any other convention, but at least you must follow one. No matter what convention you follow, you must follow it consistently through all your database development process. So here we have convention 4. Structures naming. All table and field names must be lowercase only. Word separator in table and field names must be the underscore only. Nouns in table names must be in singular form only. Exempli gratia, file but not files. Nouns in field names may be in plural form, still it's not recommended. Field names must have prefixes composed with beginning table name letters. All unique constraint names must have UNQ underscore prefix and must contain all corresponding fields names. All trigger names must have TRG underscore prefix and must contain the table name and triggering event name. SQL code formatting. All SQL keywords must be in uppercase. All structure names must be enclosed in such an apostrophe, such symbol that's on the keyboard is at the upper left near the escape key. Please do not confuse it with quotation marks, single quotation mark or plural quotation mark. This is not quotation mark. The next is comments principles. All database structures must have a comment. And we have some specifics. All datetime fields must be of integer type and store Unix time values. If you do not know what a Unix time is, please Google it because it's outside the boundaries of our course. All date fields must be of date type. And all primary keys must be surrogate, auto-increment, unsigned. So following this information, following these agreements will improve technical usability of our database a lot. In some rare cases, we may have additional intermediate step. We may create such a text description of our database that contains information about table, fields, data types, some comments and so on, but for simple databases this step is not really necessary. So we have to achieve such a result using the information from infological modeling level. You remember that huge UML diagram, so we look at that diagram, then we create some table, adding some fields, specifying their properties like data types and so on. Then we add another table, then we make a connection between them, and finally we'll get such a result. This is some enlarged fragment for you to see field names, data types, information about primary keys, information about foreign keys, information about relationships, and so on and so on and so on. You may ask, is it possible somehow to convert infological model to data logical model? Unfortunately, it is possible, but please never make such a mistake. Because infological level is oriented to subject matter, it has almost no information that we need for technical usability. But data logical level should have that information for our technical usability. And if we convert it automatically, we will lack that information and our technical usability will be gone from our database forever. So once again, never make such a mistake. Do not use any automatic conversion. Let's switch to Sparx Enterprise Architect, and here we may see our schema from infological modeling level. We may enlarge it for convenience or make it smaller to see the whole schema. So that's the result of infological modeling. And then we look at that result and create data logical model. So this is the final view because it takes a lot of time, and if you somehow forget how to create tables, associations between tables, how to manage fields and so on, please refer to the beginning of our course. It was reviewed there. At this point, we already may export the result into a real database. So let's do it. Let's click Generate. And we may open the resulting script in some text editor and review it. We see comments here, we see a lot of technical information and so on and so forth. But we must remember that this is not the final view yet. We have a lot to do on the physical modeling level. So that's all about data logical modeling, and in the next videos we shall discuss physical modeling of databases.